Everyone out of the goddamn way. We got a ring full of blue, a sword full of magical, and a bomb capacity full of, quite frankly, not nearly enough. Let's equip this thing. Because that's a projectile weapon, and I don't know if it fires faster than the arrows or not. Oh, we have sword beams ready. I'm not used to that. Our health meter is this full, and this is a Zelda game. You don't get full health when you die. Which is the thing also in Oot that anyone is like, oh, well, you mentioned that yesterday as if it was weird or something, and you're right, it's kind of not. But for some reason, my brain just sort of switched off about the idea. Ah, hey. That's enough out of you guys. Yeah, their magical boomerangs still actually hurt. Oh, hey, it's a Dig Dogger. I can start picking up all these bombs that I probably should be leaving around for later, as I have a feeling that they will be more useful later on. And we also enter into a room of lagging skeletons. Oh, is it not actually do more damage for them being a magical boomerang? I completely forgot. Oh, yeah. Yeah, now I remember. Never mind. There's a secret in the tip of the nose. Well, we don't really have a good idea as to what this schnoz that you're referring to is yet, sir, because we still lack a map. Yeah, I just completely forgot that their regular-ass boomerangs are also 1 heart base damage. Because we haven't seen those palette in a while. I mean, ultimately, there's not a lot of Gorillaz in the game anyway. But certainly, it's been a while since there's been any at all, really. Okay, so I think we've got to just start blowing shit up. That's why they keep giving us all those bombs. Oh, you fool. The up key doesn't work on the subscreen. For reasons that are quite bizarre to me, if we're being honest. Hey, we love to see that. Oh, I always thought they could in this game. I mean, it wouldn't be the first thing that I was wrong about with this game, but it certainly won't be the last or something. Excuse me. Yeah, I see. I see. It's just the blue guys are more durable than the red guys. So, when they're coming in here with the King Banana, it's the same amount of damage, but... Hey, speaking of need bombs... Oh, I timed that way too late. Do I have to fight these Dodongos for anything? Other than just to be, like, not annoyed at all the Dodongos? They're not guarding a major item, are they? Like, surely they're not guarding the red candle. That much I'm fairly confident of. Although, admittedly, that is only bare confidence. That's not necessarily accurate. You don't remember. Well, I'll come back for this room later, I guess. I bet you'd like to have more No kidding. But I think I'll actually wait on that one and see. First of all, can I bomb these walls? Yeah, there I go, walking away from the bombs again. Yes, I mean, they usually are, so I was like, they're not guarding the stairwell existing, right? Anyway, I'll go back in there and buy the extra bombs from some random old man who's selling me explosives in a dungeon in a second. First, yeah, it's just 5 rupees. Fair enough. Well, the guy said tip of the nose. I didn't think that was going to work, but I had to try anyway. Oh, right, I don't have 100 rupees for this. Well, that was tremendously silly. I was not paying attention at all. Yeah, I definitely am. I've tried it a couple of, more than a small amount of times, really, but I'm just not very good at it. Oh yeah, bubble. Right. And in this instance, it's just a regular bubble because there are the red and blue bubbles later in the game. Technically, referring to these as the red bubble would not be correct, even though they spend most of their frames looking kind of red. There's a dig man. Don't know why I said it that way, but eh. Yeah, exactly. That is a thing that I actually forgot to mention, but I did want to get to. I got sidetracked because of some reason. I'm going to assume it was the Dig Dogger's fault, because, to be quite honest with you, it usually is. If I recall correctly, also, speaking of second quest only monsters, there's a... Oh, never mind. I was actually literally about to mention that incarnation of Dig Dogger, and then guess what showed up in front of me? Oh yeah, I think that's only the second quest, and then it literally appears right in front of me in the first quest. Like, yeah, alright. Just go right ahead and make me look like a complete fool. I am used to it at this point. Oh, they scream when they're hit. I was like, are we that close to a boss already? Which actually kind of looks like we are. But no, they were just making a funky noise. Alright, so here's a gorilla going grumble grumble, which is a little bit nebulous, but I guess it's supposed to imply, oh yeah, stomach is rumbling. Just show it your meat and... Oh. Have you considered not freezing it that way? No! I haven't! And very intentionally I have not, for that matter. Oh, here's our map. Well, I guess that wasn't the tip of the nose the guy was referring to, so... Tip of the nose then being the location of the red candle, I surmise? Because now I have to fumble my way through this room setup. Am I even allowed to... You know what would help? Is that I do actually have a blue candle that I can use still. Like, that thing is actually an item that exists. I mean, surely it's not as actually useful as the red candle, but then again, I say that, I'm going to forget about the... I'm probably going to forget about the red candle at some point, too, because it's like, oh yeah, hey, I can start multiple fires in a room. That's probably useful, but... Guys, I need money. The guys in the game, not necessarily anybody in here. I mean, that'll help. I didn't think those blocks were really pushable, but well, it looked a bit the part. The lag! Because I was going over... Oh. Oh, that looks like that's... We need to staircase it then, probably. Unless we can bomb into here from this side of the wall. Yes, we can. Oh, well, I guess there's a staircase, too. And judging by those growls, we are within a 1-block taxicab distance from the boss of the dungeon. Which is something really stupid, if I recall correctly. Is it an Aquamentus in this dungeon? I think it is. Okay, yeah, so I was not imagining that. What an incredible choice in terms of a thing to put as your boss in level 7 of all places. Okay, so we're gonna have to go the other way to get to that. I would say I like how there's already, like, several much harder bosses in this level, too. But the mini bosses in here are dig doggers. They're kind of not harder, actually. I mean, they vaguely are, but not by a lot. And by that, I mean, truth be told, probably not at all. Although this one is moving quite fast. Oh. No need to do that. Yeah, basically, is that you pretty much just need to play the thing at them. Otherwise, they're just kind of there. How you doing, by the way? We've got a couple of Dodongos here who make a very silly-looking face when you bomb them from the front. Just that sprite is incredibly funny looking to me. Sadly, it was only guarding a bomb, but, like, what am I going to complain about bombs, honestly? Those are usually pretty useful. Ah, crap. We got wall masters. That probably won't be a problem, but I still don't like them very much. Well, relatively okay as a start. Ah! Then you get jostled around by all these bubbles. And now to ruin my ability to encounter more wall masters? Let's fix that. Okay, yeah, I was like, surely all I did was just not press on a block for long enough, right? And it leads me into a side path, which this dungeon do we even have to look at? Oh, well, I guess this would probably get us to the ending area, right? Yeah. Oh, okay. Never mind. Whoops. Somehow that part of it completely slipped my entire brain. Even though I usually know that, but... what am I doing? Just sword laser in the head. There we go. I think it might have been because it's Wall Masters. So I was like, oh, that's a little bit weird, actually. That's not normal. Okay, so if we want that bomb capacity upgrade, and we do, we gotta go find another 27 rupees. Unfortunately, we did kind of use up most of our good rupee locations, so... I think we got all the secret to everybody spots anyway. Or pretty near. So we've got to farm that money the old-fashioned way of beating the crap out of the random things. Oh, these guys aren't respawning very quickly. Oh well. Yeah, there were a couple of skeletons in the main dungeon, so we could go and fight some Stalfos and possibly get a little bit of... There were some ropes in there too, I believe. I no longer remember, but I definitely remember there were some skellies in here, so we can get some... We can get some money from those. So what does this room even look like? 'Cause if it's blocks, we should be able to see... Oh, never mind. I was gonna say, if it's blocks, we should be able to see them, but I suppose that is false. Ah, yes, this is a great room to be in at any time, right? Well, there's a 5 rupees, so that's... Hey, pick that up. I waited on that ferry too long. Oh no, that's just back to the entrance. Whoops. You fool, you've just gone in a circle. Wouldn't be the first time. Yeah, that wouldn't necessarily be a bad idea. But I'm already here. I'm gonna have to come back in here anyway, so... I'd probably be able to get away with it, basically. Think. Well, we only need 6 rupees more anyway. Oh yeah, this is an old man who talks to us. Tells us about a secret in the tip of the nose. You know, a secret that you have to go to in order to complete the dungeon. Maybe he's just trying to imply that he's just done a huge line and wait. I'm sorry, I just... Clearly my brain decided to go into complete idiot mode there because that is a strange definition of the phrase secret if it gets you to the final boss of the dungeon. At least in my opinion. Retro Pact, Yu-Gi-Oh! Release, right? Because I'm just sitting here like, the term retro pack for that feels really old. Old is how it feels. Like, that seems like something from, like, 2007 maybe, that they would use as a name for it, so. To hear it just called retro pack as opposed to, well, anything longer than that. It's so old they don't have updated text. I mean, I think there would be something kind of funny about them just releasing like an old set where they use the unupdated rules text. But also you'd kind of have very, very limited amounts of... Yeah, that's actually a good point. You'd have a fairly limited pool of cards that you could do that in that I think would be reasonable, among other things. Because I feel that at bare minimum... Wow, that is one rude snake. At bare minimum, the formatting change has slightly shrunk down how much text certain card rules take up. It's just the difference is that cards have gotten more complicated since they switched over any of that stuff. It's kind of like, well, again, you know, using a Magic example seems a little bit like, oh, hey, yeah, what you're doing is a little too easy there, champ, but cards objectively in Magic have gotten significantly more complicated since the era of, like, the early 90s, with the exception of a few weird outliers. But also the overall card text has gotten shorter because a lot of things are keyworded and stuff uses terminology now like when this creature dies instead of when this creature is put into a graveyard from play and stuff like that. On the other hand, I think that getting rid of regeneration in Magic means that since they consequently had to get rid of the term bury, which granted they also didn't use the word bury in a very long time by that point, but that did pad some text out for MTG stuff. Oh yeah, Thousand Eyes Restrict I'm sure is still like an essay. A doctoral thesis on a piece of cardboard, right? And did they make a retrain of it? I bet that's even worse. in terms of the matters of complexity. Hey, that's not level 8. That's level 2. That's 3, I believe. That's Raft Zone. This is level 5. Level 6. Is that the case? I don't remember. Yeah, it's level 5, so here's level 6. And this has, obviously, the Lionel out front, so that way you know you're in for pain. Now, that'll probably take us to 7, so let's try resetting the tornado immediately. Well, that doesn't actually work. Never mind. Yeah, so we're over here at level 4 again. Well, shit. Regardless of what the actual constraint there is, it certainly is causing us a minor issue. I mean, I remember level 8 is off in the forest somewhere, but I think it's the other side forest here. Whatever, I can hoof it. This gives me more of an excuse to go get money and stuff. Oh, okay, well. And that's me forgetting about the rules here. Have I opened up the bracelet passages? I have not. Mostly because I always forget where in particular any of them go. Yeah, and it's just like, oh yeah, I get to stumble through this again. And it winds up with me being somewhere that's halfway like where I need to be. It's not it. It's up from here, I believe. Not quite. It's in this general area, because, yeah. It's on this side of the map forest here. That leads up to the desert. Here? Wow, I don't remember my way around this area as well as I thought I did. Maybe it's probably further to the east, actually. I just was like, wait, I thought it was a little more westerly than that, but... Maybe I was expecting to hit the shoreline faster. But here we go. That one last moblin that we can take care of real quick, and... we are back in level 8. Ah, yes, this place. That's quite helpful. Thank you, game. That's a suspicious bit of generosity on its part, actually. Stairway or key? Oh, that's the Bible. Oh. I don't really think I need that. It's somewhere else that I was thinking of. There's a room in this place, I'm pretty sure, that I was having some issues with just a bunch of blue dark nuts that I think were guarding an item. And that item was probably the key. You know, the magical key that is slowly becoming less important as we go, because the amount of keys we have is already pretty decent. I mean, I guess, but for some reason, my general reminder is, the thing that I my general recollection of it is that it does kind of make it less good of a damaging weapon. Because I believe the enemy takes damage from the fire before they take damage from the magic wave. And usually that means that they're going to soak that instead of taking the damage of your white sword beam. Oh, fuck. Oh, God. Oh, buddy. I'm so glad we opened into Lag Central, starring slightly blue Link here. Okay, somehow that hit worked. You know what? I don't know that I should question it, really, but hey. Oh yeah, of course, and Gibdos are, like, insanely stout. It's not like OOT where they're basically just greedeads who scream more often, because that wasn't a thing back in these days. Alright, come on, open up. Oh, this one takes multiple arrows, alright. I mean, it makes sense, but apparently it's more than two, so... Oh, that's interesting. Spectacle Rock is an entrance to death. Yes, you're informing me of where the 9th dungeon is. Kind of useful, especially because Spectacle Rock is one of those sorts of landmarks that you can pick up as being, oh, that's quite obviously that, right? It definitely looks the part, as you might perhaps imagine. Hey, those two orange guys were stacked on top of each other. That's helpful. I know I can just leave this room, but I'm sure this blue guy's guarding something, because that's usually how it goes. It's only 5 rupees, but that's not without value, so we'll take that. And I'll end up in here, which is a room full of rabbits. Let's just do this. Ah, yes. The arrows pierce through them. It's been a second, so I haven't had to think about it. Nothing special going on here in terms of layout. I didn't think so, but I was curious. After I was step-laddering around, so... yeah. Back here. Ah, yes, more of the blue boys. Alright, bait and... ugh! Crap. Just knocked a bunch of them into me. Wow, whoops. I'm doing that thing again where I try to press down on the subscreen. I make myself look like somebody who's never controlled a video game before. Use up that potion. Probably wouldn't hurt to raise more money and buy another one of those before we go to the final dungeon. Oh, this layout had me confused for a second, because it's like, that's actually a layout that they use for a boss. It's not the boss that would be the boss here, because that would be ridiculous, but, I mean... Yeah, level 9 is full of a lot of very nasty things that are, like, a special level of jerk, even compared to stuff in here. Thankfully, the rabbits are giving me a decent amount of cash here. I'm quite confident that bombing upward is not going to just get us into the boss room, even though that's a fair possibility as to where it is. Yeah, dark room, this is not the boss. That's good, because I'm fairly confident that the boss of this area is a 4-head Gleeok, and I don't want to think about that for at least another minute or two. Oh, I see. The clock doesn't stop the shooty statue, but it doesn't stop us. Does stop it from hurting us. So at least there's that. Yeah, I would assume that we enter from the right. 10th enemy has the bomb, and that is a very esoteric hint that is incomplete to start with. But it's also a thing to do with enemy drops, not anything with, like, oh, hey, here's a thing that you can find in this dungeon. Oh, we can actually enter from the bottom. Well, go figure. That's neat. Yeah, I do not, for the life of me, remember where that thing is, so... You know what? I'm actually gonna go grab the Triforce now. Oh, okay. See, originally I was going to be like, yeah, I'll go grab the Triforce now and I'll come back to it afterwards. Because then at least I don't have to go back to get the Triforce. Yeah, well, it's certainly not walk through a wall. I mean, again, I didn't think so because that's more of a second quest feature. But that's fine. Excuse me. I didn't remember there were any at all, but I do know they're certainly not frequent. Oh, goodness. I haven't gone that way at all, which is kind of a shock. Yeah, and you're certainly not asking the right person about that, so... Nope. Oh yeah, that's right. This is one of the rooms that setup is like this. You see... You say more than 10. I think it's more like more than 3. Really? And that's if we're being generous. Like, oh, there's healing, there's magic barrier, and there's rock drop thing. Avalanche. There we go. Anyway, thank you for the 100 bits. Wow, a key. I'm definitely not trying to make those completely outmoded, so it's very funny to keep getting them as drops, but... I mean, speaking of maps, I also haven't gotten a map drop for this dungeon, so that's a bit of a surprise. Really? See, I have this, like, weird feeling of, like, do people even know that there's an exit spell? Or anything quality of life? Ow, that's not it. Judging by the location of the blue pixel, I'm feeling like we're a little too far over to the right, which we can not bomb out of easily. Yeah, I forget if it's every boss attack, but a very large amount of them dispel your buffs. Which causes a bit of a problem. And by a bit of a problem, I mean... They definitely used a little bit too much of that. I'm not gonna say that it's without warrants to have it in there somewhere at all, but like, why does every boss need to be able to dispel all of your buffs? Okay, yeah, I'm gonna crack open a map for this one, actually, and see what kind of a mess we're dealing with here. Oh, that was a manhandla earlier. I forgot about that. Okay. That guy. Oh, I see. Alright. Oh, yeah, perhaps I should have my chat box up on the correct monitor so that way I can see it better. Oh, god damn it, these guys are back. Whoops. Uh-oh. That's not as fun as I'd want it to be, really, but... I thought those guys were gonna get closer. But no such anything happening here. God, these guys suck. But I think a large part of that is also the statues. They're kind of the worst. They just read your inputs. I can believe it at this point, because they definitely act like it. Good old MK2 AI, right? Thanks, Ed Boon, you... Yeah, I think it would probably be smarter for me to go out and, like, heal before I dealt with this, but... Oh no, the lack of magic shield is definitely screwing me over there pretty badly. Because of the statues, but also I was definitely getting shot in the back a lot, so... And generally I find that things move at such a speed with this that you kind of need to that you would get very easily into a position where it's like, okay, turn around to block the shot, or dodge the incoming sword asshole and not do both. And then you get sort of this Morton's Fork situation where it's like, oh, by the way, you're still getting hurt no matter what. And, you know, that's exactly what we all love to have happen to us, right? Is for someone to stick a fork in us and it's done. Wait. I just wanted to get rid of that guy in case I got interrupted while I was doodling around here. Yeah, pretty much. As I try to get this to get me over where I need to go. Alright, fine, I'll just walk. Nice job, dude. Like... That one's probably my fault, but still. Yeah, I stepped out to go heal, because starting on that from only 3 hearts is, like, not great, shall we say. Again, it's like starting literally anywhere except for the first room of the map in Metroid 1 with less than 30 energy. It's just like, that's not good, because everything hurts so much and there's a lot of it. Getting dropped into Kraid's Lair, that's the one that I remember having the most of that happen to me, because it's quite easy to get there when you are very underprepared. And it's hard to tell that you're so underprepared. Oh. Well, nice of you to warp in on me like that, basically, dude. Alright. Do you guys not have, like, hearts you can drop or something? Oh, wait, no, they're moblins. They... Inherently not much in that department. I mean, they got plenty of health, but not. Go along the top. Come on. Ow. Certain enemies just really prefer to not give you health, for example. I know that to be just the case, so... Maybe those guys are just really stingy about hearts for some reason. What if I remember to actually light the room, right? If there is, I don't remember where it is. Get the thing. So let me get those 5 arrows that I will probably actually need at some point. Yeah, like I said, I don't remember where it is, and I don't have the map open right now, so... The world map, anyway. I actually don't even have the dungeon map that I looked at for this place open yet. Open again, rather. Whatever the case may be. Pick that up. Immediately lose it, because these guys are real good at this. I'm glad they didn't, like, also include bubbles in this room, even though I totally would expect them to under some circumstances or another. But there we go. So, now we just keep going north, if I recall correctly, and we basically bomb into the north wall in the next room. Not to be confused with the location from ActRaiser. A game which I haven't really played on this channel, and I don't... I think it would be quite a time-consuming experience because of all the town stuff, but... Yeah, exactly, there you go, is that if this was second quest, you just have to expect the bubbles. Actually, truth be told, it would go even further than that in that there would be the bubbles that disable your sword in one of those rooms. And then you'd have to go somewhere else to get it re-enabled. Hey, Alan, and yes, ActRaiser mentioned. That's right. Hey, Alan, remember when you played that remake of ActRaiser and it was an even lengthier experience than the original? Because they, not just for all the added everythings, but pardon me, the added region. But just the fact that, like, all the cutscenes felt lengthier. Oh, fuck. Wow, alright, this... I have to go back through the goddamn Dark Nut room. North from that sword-looking forest. Where the goddamn is that? Left. Okay, oh, clearly I'm going... Not here. That would be silly, because this is another dungeon entrance, right? I'm pulling up the map, actually. Hang on. It's gonna do that, because... I mean, at this point, I know how to get to where I'm going. Sec 8. Huh? Okay, I see where it is. It's just further... Yeah, it's just further away than I thought it was. Hang on. It's a little bit more, like, central of the map, really. It's on the left end of the forest, basically. I have terrible memory. Alongside a lot of other things. Okay, no, that's the desert. So we gotta go further to the left still. Like, again, when was the last time I played this game? You played some of it yesterday. That's not what I mean, and you know it. Okay, yeah, so up from here is where it is. This isn't necessarily the closest that to level 8 that it could be, but it's in the vicinity, I think. So now I've got to go and get back to where we're going. Yeah, that much is definitely true. Oh, no, that's too far south. Don't be ridiculous. That's also a thing that sometimes you say to yourself when you're traveling in the US is, oh no, that's too far south. But let's not go there. And let's be honest, most of that problem is like the government of those locations more than anything. On second thought, let's not go to Camelot. 'Tis a silly place. And by the way, yes, I was just using the magic wand even though I had sword beams. I know, we're all thinking it. What the hell are you doing, kid? And the answer is, well, the wrong thing, that's for sure. Anyway. Yeah, no, Alan, that ActRaiser remake, like, they did not need to add those extra regions, especially when the game was already that much more padded out than the original. They definitely ruined that remake more than a little bit. Oh no, maybe I should be a little bit careful about how I express that, because, you know, not that he watches these streams, but Ludiker might get up my ass for expressing an opinion as a fact. Like, listen, I understand that part of his bit is that he's not a grammar Nazi, he's the whole grammar Third Reich, but Jesus Christ, that whole bit of that today was like, dude, the fact that it was an opinion was self-evident. Don't be a fucking moron, all right? I think that's probably the angriest I've been at like anybody in your community ever, which is amazing that it's somebody who's usually a stand-up guy, and you know, I also sometimes have a huge stick up my ass too, and I was just like, yeah, you need to unwedge that a little bit. Anyway, that's enough of that. Oh no, it's just some guy on a friend's Discord channel. You know, not everybody is always going to be in the matter of, like, is not always going to be a perfect person or something, you know. In the immortal words of Hoobastank, he's not a perfect person. Wait, what a strange thing to bring up now, or at any point in one's life. In the immortal words of Alice in Chains, oh, actually, I was going to quote the title track from the album Dirt, but somebody in a comment on YouTube, when I I went and listened to it again through that medium for some reason, as opposed to just listening to the music files that I have on my hard drive. And there was somebody in the comment section who's like, why wasn't this on a... Why didn't this become a hit on the radio? And it's like, I don't know. I think the rather like aggressive reference to killing yourself in that song might be a good reason why it, you know, for again, asterisk, from the perspective of the narrator saying that they wanted to be dead, and in a way that was expressed in a rather violent manner. But you know, I do understand that with a case like that, this particular song, it's a very good song, and it's like this excellent emotional outpouring sort of thing, but you know, some things are not made to be radio hits, right? What else can I say about that? Except, oh no, I died to a red dark nut because I played like crap. At least the Goma will be gone. I'm pulling up the map for this location again to realize that I went the wrong way. I have to actually go right at the Goma room. I got a little too lost in the sauce of just going straight upwards there. Actually, I should go heal, because I remember that the old blue boys are gonna be there waiting for me. The old blue stingers. The blue, I almost said the Edmonton Oilers, but no, I don't know what color they wear, so. Blue Bomber. We're not playing Mega Man yet. I mean, there will be more Mega Man in the future at some point. I just don't know when yet, because I'll get to it eventually, is the key point here. There's a lot of Mega Man out there. In fact, there are multiple characters called Mega Man, so I can even say there's a lot of... Well, canonically, the spelling for the plural of Mega Man is Mega Mans, and we found that out digging through the enemy archive / art book part of Mega Man Legacy Collection. For... Oh god, was it for Mega Man 1 or Mega Man 3? I forget, because it's one of the two. They both feature clone Mega Man boss fights. I think it was Mega Man 3, which... You know, somebody else would be like, oh, well, that game was so rushed that they couldn't even update the grammar or something, but... You know, let's avoid that joke slightly, because it's too easy. Anyway. Mega Man 3 is a fine game, considering they probably developed it in like 2 weeks. And at least 2/3 of that time period was designing the... Well... Actually, it's Robot Master Designs, so those are done by other folks. At least some part of that design time was the art director just kind of squinting at Top Man and going, this seems like a bad idea in terms of this spinning attack. And then most of the rest of that time was like looking at the top spin attack and going, yeah, this is a good idea. This works perfectly fine. And then they had like, I don't know, 3 hours to finish the game. Where's Bottom Man anyway? I mean, that's a good question, Mega Man. Ah, fuck it, we'll just take the heart. Topspin is some some jank, just to put it mildly. Topspin is some severe, like, I mean, okay, I understand the attack. We'll give them that the attack, even though it's not necessarily the most intuitive thing in the world. It's a concept. We'll say that. We'll be fair about the fact that it is technically a concept and the idea of, oh hey, Mega Man can grind into enemies too is a novelty of a sort, I suppose. Like, we'll just kind of go, okay, about that, and we'll move on. However, the fact that it's just like its energy drain is so badly set up that the amount that you end up spending varies so wildly every time you use it. That's what we call a big oopsie in this sort of business. And you may be asking what sort of business this is. Well, I don't know either. But I do know we did get our magical key, and that adds one more to our inventory of magical objects. And we're really only missing the one item here if we want to go get the book. Again, I'm not a big fan of the book. It's like, again, I've said this before, and I should put the asterisk here that a lot of this is down to my recollection, that while the ability to light rooms easily is nice, it definitely seems like the fire kind of like screws with your DPS for the magical rod. At least from my recollection, that it seemed like, as a rule, it would create the fire at such a position that it would do the damage with the fire before the wave would properly hit the enemy. So they'd basically be in their iframes when they are supposed to be getting impacted by your magic wave, which does 2 damage. 2 damage, I suppose we'll call it. You know, it's white sword strength. Because they're already iframing from a fire that dealt the equivalent of wood sword to them. And yeah, there's that too, that if you're just trying to clobber somebody with your staff, it causes some issues there as well. But yes, I need 12 rupees before I go into level 9 so that way I can get a red potion, but also, regardless of that, I will be right back, everybody. Alright, hold up. I'm still here. By that I mean I'm back. Saying still here after a BRB seems like the wrong way to phrase it, but oops. I suppose we can go to a level where we can go find some easy to beat up guys. This is 3, I think, so that's... yeah. Don't look at the map, everybody. Alright, level 2. This place has got some snacks in it, so we should be able to farm a decent chunk of free money off of them. Yeah, like that. I want to get at least enough to, well, I mean, get the potion, but also have a little extra so that way I can have some for some arrows. Just in case the drops in level 9 are absolute hot garbage. Because yes, of course I remember at least the basics of how to Ganon. And one of those basics that I remember of how to Ganon is that you need to use the silver arrow to kill him after you stun him by just sort of poking around the room randomly with your sword. Which, you know, fun idea for a boss fight, right? Well, listen, it was the 80s. Game design was still kind of embryonic in a lot of ways. Ganon in Link to the Past is probably a better fight. I should do that, honestly. I mean, God, I wish I still had a secret to everybody I could go access for 100 rupees, but that wouldn't be a bad idea. Would be to get to, like, I don't know, 170 or something. And buy myself a magic shield so that way I can block orbs, because that's gonna be a problem. Or the fucking orbs. And also get myself a red potion, have a couple for some silver arrows. Yeah, Ganon in Link to the Past I think is a better fight. I've been saying a lot here that I think I prefer this one to Link to the Past, but Ganon in Link to the Past is definitely the better fight. I just admit that I have a bit of a streak against it. Oh yeah, cause it's obviously it's level 9. There's like millions of Wizrobes, right? They would put those in the hardest location possible. Anyway, yeah, I have a minor grudge against Ganon from Link to the Past, because I've definitely gotten knocked into pits several times by trying to hit him in the back during the part where he removes the outer ring of the arena. And it's just like, wow, I feel really dumb. I think I've probably said something about this before, that it's like, what cape is that strong? I mean, I guess the magic cape, but we have that. Like, what, is he carrying the Vampire Survivor's Crimson Shroud on his ass or something? That doesn't make any sense. That wouldn't be invented for another, like, 20 years. And then some. Or I guess whatever Castlevania item it's based on. I forget. My Castlevania knowledge is actually quite poor, but I believe I've said that before as well. I am quite tempted to go plug that old copy of Circle of the Moon into my GameCube and rev up the old Game Boy player and do that at some point. I'm sure that Circle of the Moon is like probably gonna be the one that someone goes, yeah, that's a perfect choice for a starter with like the biggest sarcasm font you can imagine. Because I mean, I'm sure that it's a quite good game, despite the protestations of quite a few people, but somehow there's this like weird fuse in my brain that's sort of like emitting the magic smoke that's like, that might not necessarily be the best starting point there. I freely admit that I haven't even played Symphony of the Night. Like, so the story on that one is that I didn't really start getting into like too much interest in Castlevania outside of Castlevania 1, of course, because I played that when I was a kid and I was terrible at it, but I kind of loved it. I didn't really start getting too much into Castlevania until like I was in my early 20s, and I'd gotten a PSP, which I bought the PSP originally pretty much exclusively so that way I could play yeah, so I could play the Persona games. Like, this is back in an era where I did not have the hardware whatsoever to emulate PS1, even if that was in a vaguely decent technological state. I just would not have been able to run that on my computer. And this is around when P2 Innocent Sin was coming out on the PSP, and that's when I picked up my PSP. I also got P3 Portable for it, so hey, I get to live in an era where the main character of Persona 3 is a girl. Which, I don't know if Atlas is all that interested in remembering it. I'm surprised that I have yet to hear that they've, like, released that as a DLC or something, because that does seem like it would probably be vaguely easy money for them, but I don't know. Anyway, yeah, so I also saw Castlevania Dracula X Chronicles somewhere for quite cheap. I think it was like 20 bucks if I recall correctly. Possibly at Best Buy? I'm gonna go with it being Best Buy. And I bought that, and it's like, oh, it has Rondo of Blood and Symphony of the Night. I haven't played I haven't played Alucard's game yet. There we go. We'll say it that way, so that way I don't choke on several very easy words. And by this point, obviously, it was a game that was well known for being good. Like, this concept of a gaming canon was pretty well established. And I was like, oh yeah, I'll play that, and I'll do that after I beat Rondo of Blood. The problem is that I have just straight up never been good at the style of platforming of the old style Castlevania, I can say for sure. So I didn't actually beat Rondo of Blood, is the problem. So by the time that I was like, oh yeah, maybe I can just, I have long since forgotten and remembered so many times and just been like, okay, I'm gonna go play all these other games that I've played a million times already, basically. So perhaps I'll remember to do it at some point and play it through PS1 emulation or something, or I'd say, or buy a copy myself, but like, I can't imagine that that's affordable, right? Retro game prices have gone completely off their nut in the last, like, 10 years. Which is one of the big downsides, I guess, of stuff being easily collectible through internet sources. Because, hey, yeah, at least I can find this shit thanks to the existence of eBay, but also, so can everybody else. Yeah, see, that is something that would kind of gut me a little bit, is the removal of the old voice acting, and they took out the song too, right? Because I remember there was a song in Symphony of the Night, and that I would assume to be gone due to licensing issues. Because Sony, despite being the company that probably owns the second most popular media rights in the world, next obviously to Disney, they're just too fucking cheap for that shit. At least outside of certain territories. Maybe it's still in like the Japanese release of it, but I don't know for sure for obvious reasons. Kind of like how they took out all the vocal songs from the X5, the X Legacy Collection Volume 2 is what I meant to say. I was going to say the X5, X6 collection, which is really not what it's called, but yeah, and I was kind of butt mad about that when I first was learning of this, which I think is before you streamed X6 on Legacy Collection. That I'd heard about it somewhere else, and I was like, what the fuck are you guys doing? What's even the... I wouldn't go so far as to say what's even the point in a serious manner, but also, like, what are we doing here, man? What if companies just re-released games, but they didn't really, you know, do it in full? And I know that it's like, oh, it's expensive and stuff like that. How much does it cost you to manufacture a game on a goddamn disc, right? Suck it up, at least for those consoles. I guess it would be more expensive for the Switch, and now for the Switch 2, God help you, like, I do actually understand that the Switch 2 games do have a manufacturing cost that is an amount that exists. Oh, this is the wrong shop. I mean, he's got a magical shield, but 130, I could be paying 90 rupees for that. Come on. Anyway, yeah, so the thing that I was saying about the Switch 2 and game manufacturing costs is that my understanding is that the Switch 2 game cards are costing something like around 15 bucks a unit, which is pretty substantial, all considered. Again, I still question how excusable it is for a special edition, you know, deluxe edition kind of issue to not give you a physical game with it, even in that circumstance, but, like, I do at least acknowledge that that's quite costly, especially if you're like a small indie studio or something. And not in the sarcastic way of saying that phrase. Hell with it, I'm opening up the world map. That, yeah, for some companies that actually would be legitimately a thing that is not very affordable. But on the other hand, for some folks, it's like, oh, come on. But whatever. It's less I can complain less about it than I can for something that's on disc, is the point here. Which sounds real silly, as I once again try to press up to move the cursor on that thing. That doesn't work here. This is a very old game, you buffoon. Yeah, it's pretty extreme. So like, again, I get it for some things. In fact, for what I'll go so far as to say is kind of a lot of things, because I mean, hey, even out of the projected $90 games, which, you know, still kind of makes me puke a little bit, but I guess the solution is I'll just not buy a whole lot of new games. Looks at my gigantic fucking backlog. It's not like it'll hurt me to do that. But, you know, like even out of the projected $90 physical games, that's still 1/6 of the price. So that is, needless to say, kind of a lot. Wait, isn't it 90 for physical? I know it's 80 for digital, which, again, my whole rant about that sort of price pointing, and it's like, well, it doesn't feel like you're making digital cheaper because you're jacking up the price in general there, but, like, again, for physical, for the amount of manufacturing costs, and then you've got to pay the amount to the stores, the warehouses, all this other stuff. Sure, it's not cheap. I do understand and acknowledge that. But again, for a thing like... Oh, they dropped it back to 80 bucks. Well, that is slightly more reasonable. It's just a little bit outside of my pay grade at the moment. But hey, it's fine. Console's a little pricey, and demand is as high as you would expect as usual, so, like... it's not gonna happen anytime soon, basically. Something about some Nintendo fans will defend the sweatshops, but that was a whole discussion from yesterday, and that's kind of disingenuous to say in this case, because we're not talking about something that was necessarily that sort of end of things. Anywho, yeah. So I guess at least that counterbalances one of my complaints, but, like, it does still suck that games are getting more expensive. So, everybody, I guess it's time to just go back to your retro stuff, and the library there is quite large, and trust me, a lot of that stuff is still real good. Thank goodness we have the red candle, otherwise doing that would have been quite annoying. I mean, I'm still not a big fan of doing it that way anyway, but, you know, it is what it is. They're not giving me Did's Fire in this era, are you kidding me? Link shouldn't be allowed to fuck around with Din's Fire. That would just cause problems. So, yeah, did I have anything else really to say about, well, not much particular to say about the matter of game pricing, that's for sure. Like, that's already a bit of an exhausted territory. Taking a bit of a long walk here to go find a potion shop. There's no short pier involved, though, I'll tell you that. What's in here? Is this a... This is a drugstore. Okay. Good. We can get our red pills here. Our red bottle. They're probably not any sort of, like, solid. That would be very... well, if it is, they're granular, right? There's a couple of weird medical powders. I still have a lot of very old games left to play in my thing. plus I think at least some retro stuff is still going to be vaguely affordable. With of course the new widened definition of retro that has happened because of the passage of linear time. Although I will still fight at least a little bit about the idea of anybody being like, oh, the PS3 is so come on, I think that might be going a little too far. Like, I remember a couple of years, oh my god, that's not even accurate. A very long time ago having this discussion with somebody about hearing the Red Hot Chili Peppers on classic rock radio. And this was back in, like, probably the early 2010s. And it is like, well, I guess passage of linear time, right? What can you say outside of that? Is things get old. Anyway, the old man isn't here. Usually he turns us away if we don't have all 8 Triforces. But we came prepared this time. Unfortunately, we still kind of got whipped by a couple of Lionels earlier, so... Oh, sorry, I think I meant to phrase that as whooped. If I say whipped, it sounds like, well... It sounds less appropriate. Why'd I go back for that key? I don't know. Some of you are thinking, why would you go back for that key? You don't need those anymore. And you're correct. Oh, hey, look, it's these guys. Oh, they can walk into... Right. Yeah, does it just, like, bother you to have collectibles sitting on the map? Because that's something I can definitely understand quite a lot. I was gonna be shocked if that guy still had HPs. Like, more than one. That's quite fair, too. Yes, that's a clutch clock. That is gonna help us out in this room quite a bit. Unfortunately, I wish these guys would give me some health drops, but... I suppose... What can you do? I have no idea where anything is here, so... Well, now I know where one thing is. It's a block room. It's guarded by land mullahs. Oh. Oh, these guys are not actually that bad. I seem to recall them being, like, way faster, but I must be thinking of the blue land mullahs who are just, like... They move at a speed like they're riding the fucking snake, let me tell you. They move at some Jim Carrey on what I think was Second City-esque speeds. Not to be confused with the guy who resembles Jim Carrey from Bad Mojo. That's not Jim Carrey, as you've probably been able to ascertain. Ascertain. Wait. Oh, just 5 rupees? I mean, it's not like it's useless here. You do kind of need a little bit of money to kill the boss. Wow, you guys, you defeat Ganon with the power of capitalism. At which point, that's the think piece that's bait, right? Also, Patras kind of suck. I don't like those guys. Go to the next room. That's not good advice, sir, because What next room? We're blocked in, aside from down, I guess. But surely it's bomb to the left, right? Oh, yeah, there are dimensions to how bad that hint is. Like, the hints in this game are not particularly stellar, but that is a sort of special, like, thanks, dude. You're about as useful as that owl. Oh, is this gonna be the red ring? No, it's a stairway. Damn, I could really use that red ring. Under many circumstances, yes, just not that one. Ruh-roh. I already knew I didn't like that. This isn't particularly appealing either, but it could be worse. For example, there could be 4 bubbles in here. That would be worse, and to be honest with you, I don't have a whole lot of other ideas as to how you can make this. Well, a room can support up to 10 enemies, so you could have 5 bubbles. That would be pretty shit. That would be quite unpleasant. Oh. Oh god, yeah, okay. What was I saying about the blue land molas? That's some, like, 1980s executives level of cocaine I'm going on there. Whoa. Another staircase. Well. Oh, is that actually a... Huh. So... Oh god, yeah, we got the Patra with this attack pattern that is actually kind of neat looking for the NES. That has like a feel of dimensionality to it that I gotta give some credit to. Another staircase. God damn, there's a lot of staircases in this place. Right, because anyway, the point here is that the red candle produces a fire, and that's a thing that lasts. So, land molas, I think, are just like, you deal a certain amount of hits to them, regardless of how much damage any of those... Oh, shit. Do these guys take damage from, like, anything? Or am I gonna have to... I'm gonna have to drink my red bottle prematurely, aren't I? Wait, bombs, right? Yes! Oh, thank goodness. I don't have to immediately use my drugs. Check these walls. Oh no, there is room at the top. I was like, I can't go up from here, can I? Yeah. I was trying to reach with my sword, but it was not working. That was a little scary because, yeah, I think that's like the first time I've had a real issue with a bad placement from a stopwatch. Well, no, there was that room with the hand guys, right? Oh god. Oh crap. Drink. Well, it is too late. But that's a fair point. It might have given me that 1 pixel of reach. Like there. Okay, so Block? Block. Yep. Get me the hell out of here. Item, please. Just for a change. Yes, it's the silver arrows. So, quick question. Did the silver arrows do anything special against any enemies, or is it just like, hey, you can actually go fight Ganon now? Do they deal more damage? Or for that matter, can they hit things that the regular arrows can't? That, I suppose, would be an important point. Okay. I just had to check because, like, as if I remember, right? I mean, if they can shank Wizrobes, that would help me out quite a bit as well, but I'm not holding my breath on that one. No! Get my shield! Ugh, of course. Of course that would happen. And, I mean, it does more damage than regular arrows to those guys, but it's still... Like-likes are still just, like, massive sacks of health. What an absolutely disgusting creature. Who came up with this thing? Oh, right. Someone who is incredibly rude. It's alright. The shield placement means that I'm, like, not good at blocking things properly anyway, so, like... The amount that it was doing against these Wizrobes is slightly limited. Okay, no, there's two orange dudes. They just were stacked on each other for that long. Well, I mean, fair enough, but... Get out of the doorway, man. That's my job, to sit in the doorway. Another stairway. There's a lot of these in this dungeon. It's very heavily disconnected from each other, which... Okay, but I wish the map told me where things went. Ah! Rude! Just spawn me right in front of these guys, why don't you? And of course, a room with spike traps and Wizrobes. You know, this is definitely my idea of a good time. Why don't you believe me? Alright. Okay, where are we compared to... So, left is my assumption for where we have to go here? Yeah. I figured as much. And hey, look, it's another stairway. I'd say this one might actually be the red ring, but I don't know for sure, come to think of it. Might just be more stairs. Yeah. I knew it couldn't be that fast. Oh, goody goody goodness. Just spawned me right in front of a Patra. At least it's this kind with the like, fun orbital planet ring one, because the ones with the growing and contracting rings are a lot harder to deal with. At least for me. Oh. Oh, here he is. Well. Sure, so we just stumbled right into this. Okay. I guess we're saying fuck the red ring then, unless we die. Which is extremely possible. Does he only teleport to a few there? Oh, there he was again. He wasn't stunned yet, though. We gotta hit him a couple of times before old Oinker P. Ham here gets good and properly stunned for us to actually shoot an arrow at. Like, not there. There we go. Actually, shockingly easy. Your timer swings after a hit. You can I did not realize that at all, but I'm not that kind of skilled even in the slightest, so here we are. Unfortunately, Zelda is still protected by fire, so you see, if I had just gotten the Goron tunic, this wouldn't be a problem. Unfortunately, Lank forgot his Varia suit at home, so he's got to stab the fires. Which, I guess that's one way to put him out. Yeah, no, Link to the Past is like a real fight, so... Oh god, my eyes, I'm sorry. Thanks, Link, you're the hero of Hyrule. Finally, peace returns to Hyrule. This ends the story. Quite simple. And yeah, back in the day, most of these fellas were working under pseudonyms to make sure they didn't get poached. Another quest will start from here. Press the start button. Well, I'll do it. As in, I will press the start button. Wow, we died 30 times. I can't tell if that's low or high considering, but yeah, I think second quest is going to have to wait a little while because, like... Yeah, I'm already pretty bad at first quest. Second quest will absolutely be a thing that happens at some point, I'm sure. I just don't know when it will be. Kind of like all those other things that I've said that about so far. But it's not even 9 o'clock here, folks. So, while I'm going to click stop recording, I could probably rev something else up for about an hour.